We are officially festive in our house, and in honor of hosting season, here are 4 vegan canapés I would serve at a seasonal drinks party. Canapé 1 would be a homemade mushroom pâté on a seeded cracker. A mixed variety of mushrooms works best for this, so I dice half exotic and half chestnut. 3 large shallots will help bring in that natural sweetness to this pâté, and 3 cloves of garlic will bring depth of flavour. Mushrooms have an earthy flavour but are otherwise flavour sponges, so to impart some flavour we are going to add some olive oil and vegan butter to our pan. Then in goes a whole stick of thyme and a bunch of sage, and we are going to fry these on a low heat until aromatic. At this point we are going to add our shallots and some sea salt, sauté until semi-translucent, and then add in your garlic. And then once the mix is translucent you're going to add in all of your mushrooms. In goes a splash of white wine to melt those mushrooms down a little bit faster, and a whole lot of black pepper. We're going heavy on the salt and pepper here. Once the mix is very soft and brown, we're going to add it to a blender with a little bit of vegan crème fraîche. You can do this with a NutriBullet or a stick blender, but I'm using my Magimix. And I'm going to blitz it until the texture is still a tiny bit coarse. Decant into a Tupperware or Kilner jar and pop in the fridge to cool. Chilling it will thicken the texture, and once it is cold we are going to plate it up. I'm using leftover crackers, but I'll pop a vegan recommendation on the screen. And we are going to top with that incredibly flavoursome mushroom pâté. Feel free to add crispy sage leaves or flash frozen beetroot for a bit of visual interest. Canapé 2 is balsamic roasted grapes on a vegan Boursin crostini. Sable grapes with olive oil, salt, pepper and balsamic vinegar get popped in the oven to roast while we prep our crostini. I used the olive Gail's baguette and I cut into slices. They are going to go onto a baking tray drizzled with good olive oil and then popped in the oven to roast until crispy, flipping halfway and monitoring to make sure they don't burn. When the grapes are shriveled and syrupy they are ready, and then to plate up we have our thin cut crostini topped with this delicious vegan Boursin, which I love. A generous slather is a must, and then these get topped with those delicious shriveled syrupy balsamic grapes. Absolutely delicious. Our penultimate canapé are caramelized onion upside down tartlets. Cut your peeled onion into whole circles, trimming your inadvertently vegan puff pastry to shape, and then for each tartlet on your baking tray you are going to build up your seasoning. A little circle of olive oil, balsamic vinegar, maple syrup, some fresh thyme and a little bit of flaky sea salt. On top of that you place your onion circles. Don't worry about it being too perfect, and then you top with your puff pastry. Form a seal and a crust using a fork, pushing in to create a crimping effect. Prick the top of the pastry to allow the air to release when baking, and then brush with some olive oil to make sure you get a lovely brown glaze. These took around 20 minutes in a 180-degree oven for me, but regularly monitor and remove when brown. Leave to cool a tiny bit before flipping, and serve with more flaky sea salt and olive oil, or with goat's cheese if you are veggie. Our final canapé is going to be hummus crudité boats. I whipped up a quick hummus with my blender, chickpeas, tahini, olive oil, salt and lemon, and to season paprika, onion granules, a small clove of fresh garlic, and I like to add a little bit of sweetness. Another lovely addition is a jar of sun-dried tomatoes. Blitz with tahini and olive oil until you're happy with the texture, and I'm serving in these little cups I got off Amazon. I'm using a variety of vegetables here to add colour and texture interest for the eye, a tiny bit of Za'atar to serve, and there you have 4 vegan canapés which are approachable and easy to do. They are super yummy because when you're hosting it's really nice to cater to different dietary requirements, even if you only pick one of these. Follow along to see my pesky, veggie and meat eater canapés all coming soon.